What's up, everybody? Nate here. So cryptocurrency as an asset class has exploded over the last 2 years. Bitcoin in particular hit a record high of around $65,000 per coin all the way back in November of 2021. And being the world's leading cryptocurrency, all of the other cryptos essentially followed the same path and have nearly doubled in value in such a short period of time. However, we are now in the middle parts of 2022 and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and many others have done nothing but tank. In fact, Bitcoin and Ethereum have dropped around 50% of their value since the start of this year. And so far, it does not look like that pain is going to be ending anytime soon. And with all of the craziness and complications going on in the cryptocurrency market right now, I wanted to kind of explain my thoughts on cryptocurrency and why starting today, I am no longer going to be investing in the asset class. But before I get into all of that, do me a quick favor and hit smash or destroy that thumbs up button below and ring that notification bell too. Both of those two things are completely free and they help to show me that you like this video and that you want to see even more just like it. So to kind of start this all off, it's important that you know what a cryptocurrency is. Now, cryptocurrency has been around for a very long time. In particular, the world's first major cryptocurrency started back in 2009 by someone named Satoshi Nakamoto. Honestly, we don't really know who that is or if that's the actual founder of Bitcoin. Nobody has ever actually proved that they are Satoshi Nakamoto, but this person essentially created the first decentralized cryptocurrency. Now, this is something that the world really hadn't seen before on this scale, and it helped with the booming parts of the internet during that time. Essentially, this would become a peer-to-peer lending currency. So this would be from person to person rather than business or rather than from traditional financial institutions like banks. It would be completely controlled by the people. It's for the people and it's built for anybody in the world. And with that, it had some pretty serious benefits. For one, cryptocurrency can be used anywhere in the world. Right now, I have to take my US dollars, and if I go to another country, I have to exchange them for another currency. And I might get a little bit more money in order to buy things, or I might be able to get a little less. It just depends on which currency I'm trading for, and it depends on what the value is at that particular moment. But Bitcoin essentially subverts this. When you have Bitcoin, the value is the same all throughout the world. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. Sure, you can exchange it for different amounts of currency, but it's all going to equal the same amount overall, if that makes sense. In addition, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies utilize something called the blockchain. The blockchain technology basically allows cryptocurrencies to function, and it means that every single transaction and every single purchase of Bitcoin is recorded on the blockchain. And it's also a way for each Bitcoin to never be duplicated. Once a Bitcoin is created, it has its own specific hash. That hash is tied down to an individual or an entity, which means if you go to spend it or use it or transact with it, well, it is completely recorded. So you can't make up a different Bitcoin. And finally, Bitcoin and some cryptocurrencies are a natural hedge against inflation. Our traditional money can be printed as many times as we want. It's just paper and it's not backed by anything like gold like it used to be 50 and 60 years ago. However, Bitcoin is a lot different. Once you create one Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is out there, and there is a maximum amount of Bitcoins you can create, and I believe it's around 21 million. Once that many Bitcoins are out there, then essentially you can't make any more. It is in the blockchain technology and it's in its coding, and there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies just like this. I do want to add though, not every cryptocurrency is a hedge against inflation. So that was the whole idea behind cryptocurrency. It can protect you against your government and traditional financial institutions because it was a hedge against inflation. And also it wasn't controlled by governments either. So people decided how money was spent and how things were sent across the world. It is a universal way of spending and sending money with the whole goal that it's built for everyone. But over the years, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies have gotten complicated. the internet has grown, which has meant that these cryptocurrencies have also grown a lot with it. In addition, interest in cryptocurrencies has also exploded over the last 2 years, which has meant a lot of good and bad things for the market and industries in general. Now that you kind of understand a little bit of the history of Bitcoin and where it's been, now let's talk about where it is today. Cryptocurrency investors typically put Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency assets into two different camps. You have the value camp, and then you also have the currency camp. And then I guess there's kind of a third one where it's both. Cryptocurrency, obviously at its start, Bitcoin in particular, was something that we wanted to spend. We wanted you to have this digital asset so that way we wouldn't have any dollars and people could have their own money beyond just a country's currency. The way that it was designed, you should be able to take your Bitcoin and then go out and spend it. Literally on goods and services, just like you would US dollars. You basically just have a debit card or a credit card, but instead of USD, you're spending BTC, which is Bitcoin. However, that has gotten super complicated over the years because the value of Bitcoin has gotten really muddy. The only thing that gives an asset a value, really the only thing that gives anything value, is the fact that people want it. I mean, you got to think about our traditional dollars here. What really gives United States currency, the dollar, value in the first place? People want money. They know they need money in our society in order to buy things. And it's backed by the US government, which is one of the strongest and largest governments in the entire world. So it's not really going anywhere. The United States government says it has value and that they will back it if you go to spend things. So people go out and they get money. So in terms of that, we don't technically need it to be backed by anything physical like we did 50 years ago when we were on the gold standard. Now the only thing that we need it to be backed by is the government's word. Of course, that has a lot of problems because now the US government can just print as much money as they want, which creates inflation because the more money you print, the more money is given out, which means more money is spent, so prices for everything have to go up. But as more and more investors started to put their money behind Bitcoin, well, the value went way up and way down because people have a different perception about its value. In order to effectively use a currency, you have to be able to efficiently spend it. So if I walk into a grocery store right now and I try to buy $100 worth of goods, well, I pretty much know what is going to be worth $100 by the time I walk in that store and by the time that I walk out of that store. And the value of the US dollar is going to be pretty much the same during that whole time. And most likely it's going to be the same next week and next month. That creates a stable currency so that way prices can also be stable and I know how much money I'm going to spend. If I never knew how much I could buy with a currency, then it's pretty useless. I'm always going to need more, of course, but if I need hundreds and thousands of dollars more every single week and the price always fluctuates, well, that's going to be a big problem for me. I don't have access to that much money and that much capital all at once. It's very difficult to go out and spend Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies because when you walk in that grocery store, well, it might be valued at one thing. And by the time you go to check out, one Bitcoin might be valued at either higher or lower. So you need to know what the price is because that will influence how much you can buy. Not to mention that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are directly connected to the internet, which can make transaction times very long, sometimes 20 and 30 minutes. So your checkout might take you a very long time because your payment has to completely get cleared through because it has to go through that blockchain technology. So that is Bitcoin as a currency. And then you have Bitcoin as a traditional asset investing class. For a long time, Bitcoin was considered the digital gold because when people invested in it, well, they were hedging against inflation. They were investing in a long-term asset that was eventually going to go up in price. Despite its volatility today, Bitcoin, as it was believed, was going to go up in value because one, people really want it, and two, there's only a limited amount available. The same can be said for gold. It's a finite resource and it takes time and energy to actually get that commodity. So if people want it, then the value suddenly goes way up. In addition, it's an alternative to stock market investing and it's going to have universal value throughout the world. just like Bitcoin. So when the US dollar crashes, when the stock market crashes, this is why people put their money into things like gold. It has universal value and they can trade it for money later. The hope was Bitcoin would be the exact same thing, and this is part of the reason why it exploded over the last 2 years. Investors started to realize that inflation was getting way worse in our economy, and they wanted to hedge against it and protect themselves by putting it into this brand new digital asset, Bitcoin. Like I said though, this has led millions of brand new investors into the cryptocurrency space, and all this has done is made things a lot more complicated. Cryptocurrency, because it is such a new asset class, has been heavily affected by scams and hacks over the last few years. Billions of dollars has been stolen in crypto, and that is a huge problem, especially when you're working with these big third-party exchanges. I'm talking Coinbase and Gemini and BlockFi. Nowadays, that is really the only way to buy and sell cryptocurrency, and while it makes it really easy, it also makes you very susceptible to hacks and scams. The bigger issue is there's not really a whole lot of regulation behind cryptocurrency, so when your crypto is scammed and taken from you, well, that's pretty much it. Since there's a limited supply of Bitcoin, these cryptocurrency exchanges don't have a bunch of Bitcoin lying around to give back to you. Sure, they can ensure your actual money so you can go out and buy more Bitcoin, but eventually there's not going to be any more to buy. Unless that Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency is taken back by the hacker or the scammer, then it's gone forever. And this is the reason why I am no longer investing in cryptocurrency. Who actually owns cryptocurrency? Is it the investors or is it these exchanges? Coinbase actually came out recently and said that if that company was to go into bankruptcy, well, then they technically could take all of the cryptocurrency from their investors and use that to get out of bankruptcy. So basically, if they had a bunch of bills that they can't pay off, they're going to take your crypto and they're going to sell it, leaving you with nothing. Sure, they might technically give you some of your money back in US dollars, but that kind of subverts the entire idea of cryptocurrency in general. You don't want US dollars, or else you would invest in another asset class like real estate or commodities or stocks. You want your cryptocurrency, and if they can just take it whenever they want to, then who technically owns it? Does nobody own crypto, or is it down to a specific person? Not only that, but cryptocurrency was supposed to be decentralized, completely separate from big financial institutions. Lately though, multi-billionaires and big financial institutions have been pouring billions of dollars into the cryptocurrency market, basically taking a huge stake in it. They now control that asset class. So what is supposed to be for the regular everyday American and regular everyday worldwide citizen is now completely subverted because the rich are now taking these crypto coins. And not only that, but the entire market in general is still in its infancy. I talked a lot about regulations, but there basically are none yet. Congress and state governments throughout the country have yet to even really define what a cryptocurrency is, how you can use it, and how people can effectively invest in it. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, I'm going to be honest, and I don't know how the cryptocurrency market is going to mutate tomorrow or even next week. I do know that the United States government loves to tax things, and they might end up taxing the death out of cryptocurrencies because they can, and it's brand new, and I don't want to put my money behind something that is so unregulated at this point. And sure, I could take my cryptocurrency and I could put it on a cold wallet, which is basically an offline storage tool, and I could trade it and sell it my own in a peer-to-peer landscape. This is extremely risky though, because what if it's stolen? I now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin that are stolen from me. Or what if somebody scams me out of a certain amount of money or crypto themselves? I can't exactly go to the United States government and say something was stolen to me at that point because I'm not technically supposed to have it in that capacity. And lastly, because cryptocurrency is so new, it hasn't worked out all of the kinks yet within its own industry. The stock market has been around for 100 years or so. It's got regulations and it has so many different tools and learning devices for people to become expert stock market investors. Not only that, but as an asset class, it is pretty stable over time. I mean, day to day and in the short term, the stock market is very volatile, but over time, it always goes back up. We don't know if that's going to happen with cryptocurrency just yet. There are so many investors who have piled into cryptocurrency over the last few years, and honestly, a lot of them don't really know what they're doing. And that is kind of the whole point of crypto and investing in the first place. You don't have to know what you're doing, but that doesn't mean that the asset class isn't going to be extremely volatile in the short to long term. When you have brand new investors in something, well, they get very scared, they get very emotional, they don't understand how the asset works, they don't understand how the market works in general. So when something goes south, they immediately start selling, or when things are great, they buy almost too much. This means that the asset class is going to continue to go way up and way down. And furthermore, I don't know what's going to be the next big thing. Bitcoin has only been around for a little over 10 years now. Is there going to be another cryptocurrency that overtakes Bitcoin? If so, then why would I pour my money into that asset class when there could be a better cryptocurrency with better technology in the future? I personally believe in cryptocurrency. I believe that one day it is going to become one of the top and best asset classes in the world. I do hold some cryptocurrency. What I'm saying is, in the short term, I'm going to be putting my money into other things until the cryptocurrency market starts to mature. Investing basically means that you're putting your faith into something for the future. You're giving money to something or someone today, and you're hoping that they continue to build on that asset class until it's something that's bigger and even better, and then gives you a return on your investment when you finally sell it. I hold cryptocurrency because I believe it is a store of value. And in times of super high inflation, yeah, I completely understand, but as the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates and inflation goes back down, well, then I don't hold as much cryptocurrency, but it's not a bad thing to have. This is exactly why you diversify in case any type of market goes down in the United States. Crypto is complicated, and it's starting to become more like a traditional asset class every single day, and I think we're going to continue to see that in the future. As its technology grows, maybe I'll one day become a lot more interested in it. I'm very much interested in things like NFTs and Ethereum and the blockchain in general. And I think that offers a lot of opportunities for us in the future. But again, as an asset class, I see it more as an asset and a store of value than a currency. So with that said, I'm going to stop investing in cryptocurrency and just hold on to what I have to kind of see what happens in the future. I can always invest more and I can always invest less. Right now, I need something a little bit more stable. But now I want to hear from you on this issue. What do you think about my thoughts on cryptocurrency? Are you all in on crypto in 2022 despite its recent volatility and complicated problems with Coinbase and ownership? Or do you think that cryptocurrency is just a trend of today and eventually in the future it's going to go away and something else much bigger will eventually replace it? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below before you go. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with all the top business and financial news from around the country, our team puts together a free daily newsletter, and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in this corner right here. And if you want to stay up to date with me and everything else happening in the business and financial world, I'm putting out updates 7 days a week over here on this channel, and I've actually got another one ready for you right here, so be sure to check that out before you go. That is it for me, everybody. Be kind out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.